a wonderful thing that we have now with YouTube is the whole phenomenon of the score going by as you can hear it. I've learned a ton from that. Really. I mean, that's about as nerdy as it gets, but that's where I'm at. How do you approach motivic development in the practice room? That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, that goes along with what I just said. That I like to think that I'm composing when I'm improvising. So being able to take an idea and use it in different ways and maybe use it through a tune. I mean, that's something you can literally just set yourself an exercise to do. And, sometimes if you use the same motive directly too many times, I mean, it gets kind of boring and obvious, but it's good to be able to do, I mean, over There Will Never Be Another You, here's an example, I was just taking the first melodic cell that I came up with, as I recall, was something like that, and just trying to use it over and over again, and put it in different keys, and maybe make some little surprising choices, so it wasn't just directly always the same thing. Maybe sometimes where it would go up, it would go down. All the tools of classical composition like that, using a motive, it's so useful if if you want to tell a story. If you look at what you're playing is that you want to tell a story, well, all of us, I mean, it's possible to come up with so many ideas, in the course of an improvisation. It's just kind of head spinning, and I think that's one reason that maybe people who don't listen to jazz all the time find it confusing, is because the amount of material presented is huge. So maybe you don't always have to use that much material. Maybe you can work with what's there, and find the thread that kind of keeps it going. And those kind of exercises are very helpful to do. Now, of course, when I'm actually playing in a group, if I'm performing a concert, maybe I'll want to be that direct. A lot of times not, because, most stories in life are not that this happened and then this happened, it was related, and that, there's always like something that comes from out of the blue that isn't, what you expected. So so I don't usually want to play that directly motives all the time. But I mean, that's an example of how I would practice getting that under my fingers, which involves being able to transpose things into different keys, which involves being able to think of the melodic shape in different parts of the scale and different registers, through the harmony. You know, there's lots of I guess inner parts of that if you don't have that together, then it's hard to get the motives. But you know, on a much simpler level, I'd say just think melody. Just think about melodies and think about where the melody that you're making up should go next. You know.